$2 a sleigh.
Hello, thanks for stopping by the channel. My name is LynzloByChoice. If you're new here, I build in The Sims and make a bunch of videos about it, and this is no different. We are building with the new Love Struck expansion pack, and I actually started this build before I had the pack. So the first part of us constructing this woohoo hotel or boom boom room hotel, I end up using a lot of things from other packs, and this is in a lot on Oasis Springs titled Pebble Burrow, but I do end up using a bunch of the pack once I get it. But this is really the layout. I think this came together really quickly, and each room is really different. I did want to have like a kitchen and a bathroom in every room, but I do end up opting to change that towards the end. But once we get to it, I will tell you a little bit more details about that. So grab everything you need and let's actually just get into this. I knew immediately that I wanted to build a hotel or motel similar to this once I saw the trailer, because I don't know if you've seen it. I'll link it in the description and also somewhere in the video if I can, but the trailer that came out kind of alluded to being able to have a date where you can go and, you know, have woohoo, and it looked like a rabbit hole. And if you know The Sims 4, you know they love a good rabbit hole. Even with My Writing Stories, Cottage Living, there's a lot of activities that we are able to do that are really just rabbit holes, and I don't want that. For some cases that don't require a lot of activity during that particular event, okay, cool. Don't get me wrong, some ideas, some activities that they have as rabbit holes make sense. But for this, I feel like I would just want to be a little bit more involved. I want to be there every step of the way, especially if it is like a blind date and they decide this is how they want to end the night. And I feel like if I'm doing a storyline or doing a let's play with this, I would want to be there. You say that you go to a cheap hotel and then you go into a rabbit hole, who knows, maybe that experience, the entire experience leading up to it is just so awkward, but everyone's dedicated to the bit and they have to go through it. I want to play that out in The Sims. And so this is me providing you with this. I think is pretty cool. I always try to build things that I would want to see in the game, and this is definitely something that I would want. I don't feel like this will be the only time that I build this. I actually went live here on YouTube like a few days ago and I started building one, and around that time I wanted it to be a little bit more fancier because I knew I already had this in the works. So this is like a cheaper, more rundown, I think a little bit more cheeky, because all the rooms have a lot of personality, even if it's not loud and crazy, which some of them are. And we finally hit the moment where I got the Love Struck expansion pack. We are thinking a little bit more on the motel, cheap, retro side of things for the outside. And so with that, I did want to go for a simpler pool, but I love this bar area. Like, I love this. The wall part plus the actual bar makes this so beautiful to me, and I had to add a dance floor because why not? Instead of adding a DJ or anything like that, I do end up adding some stereos up on the wall, and I feel like that just makes sense. And this is where we get into creating the rooms. So we're on to room number 1, and this one ends up being red and black, and as you can see, we have most of the things done for this. So I do end up adding a kitchen and a bathroom. Now the bathroom isn't done yet, but we'll end up finishing that in a second. The theme in here ends up being red and black, and I feel like red is definitely like a love staple color, so I wanted to really give into that. And so giving red and black was just, you know, one of the most common and simple colors to add. Now I do have one small critique, and that is just that we needed more buy items. Like, I filtered only for Love Struck for most of the creation of these bedrooms, and I felt like I just was limited. Like, I could have used so much more, and I would have loved that. Like, we only got 2 new beds, and this is supposed to be like a woohoo pack essentially, and so I figured we would get a few more beds. We definitely got some more woohoo spots, but I would have loved another bed. Maybe another iteration of the heart bed. I don't know. So yeah, there's my critique on that, but this is really this room. In the bathroom, I don't think I end up filming this because it's, you know, it is just a bathroom, but for that one it ends up having a tub shower combo and then a sink and a toilet. And here there is just a bunch of red going on. I love being able to have the small plants and those lights that you put on the wall. Beautiful. I didn't end up realizing it until later on in the build that you actually have some on the top as well. So that is room number 1. Room number 2 here, you know, it's a different layout, so as soon as you walk in through this one, you end up having the bed right there. I do end up taking one of the windows out, so there's only one window in there there, but it's still covered up because you know the whole premise of this hotel, so no nosy Sims will be able to peek in on this room. Everyone really does have a color scheme, and so in this one it is really just blue. And so whenever I thought about creating these hotels, I thought about actual hotel rooms. You know, there's always a dresser, there's always a bed, and sometimes there's a love seat or a chair and a light. So I really just thought bedroom for most of these. I don't do a lot of kitchen like decorations and stuff like that because I feel like they're only using the kitchens for the purposes of creating like romantic foods like the flirty cookies or something similar to that. But that was room number 2. We're now moving on to room number 3. And this one is a brown theme. As you can see, we have some cheetah print here or leopard print or something similar to that. I always get confused on those prints, but I like this one. I end up using the mirrors that we got from Dream Home Decorator here, and then I end up using some other things here as well. I love this theme, but I definitely would have loved it even more if I could have taken it a step further with more animalistic print rugs or like some more decorations that kind of allude to the same bedding. Whenever I think about animalistic prints in the bedroom, it's always wild and free, and I would have loved to tie all of that in with more decorations. So I feel like the decorations on this pack was a bit lacking, but I do love, you know, what they've given us. I just would have loved more. Like, this is definitely that pack that could have given us more and it would have been just fine. It was around this moment that I realized that we got some really cool wallpapers and paintings, things like that. So I do end up going back down to the first 2 rooms and add in some more there, but I love the wallpaper that I end up adding in that brown one. It is a little bit different, but I do think that it works. Just a bunch of pattern, and who doesn't love that? So this is the bathroom for it. I end up using the new shower we got, and then I end up using, you know, just one of the standing sinks and one of the mirrors that have the lights around them. I really love that. So we're taking a break from doing the room so I can come back out and start working on the communal space for this hotel lounge venue. And so here we end up having the pool, right? But in the middle, I wanted to add some kind of stage. So this is what I end up going for. We end up having some stairs going up on both sides, and then it's really just this square stage. I end up adding a guitar, a microphone, and one of the busking kits so you can end up making money there if you want to. I think it's really nice if you want to play up like a small concert, or, you know, if you just want to make money at a lounge where people are, you know, having the intent of cheap woohoo. And to add a little bit more personality in terms of what this hotel lounge could look like, I do love adding a lot of greenery somewhere, and I felt like adding this on the stage would be a nice addition in terms of decorations without actually adding a bunch of decorations around here, because I do want it to still be functional. So your Sims are able to swim around. I did play test as much as I could, and I really love the way that this turns out. It does kind of look like a busier lot, and that's what I'm going for. Also, I did make the mistake in a few of my other builds with the lot types. For example, I did create an indoor skating rink, and so if you want to check that out, I'll link it in the description of this video as well. But I did make that like a general lot because there wasn't really one that was family friendly, things like that for a particular lot venue type. But for this one, I do end up going for a lounge, and that does spawn a lot of Sims to this venue a little bit more. Now, when it comes to actually doing the woohoo, you know, in these rooms, it is going to be a little bit difficult because you can't lock the doors and stuff. So it's really like a in and out kind of thing. But I think that's kind of how it is with the rabbit holes anyway, so it wouldn't be that much of a stretch. I love the progress that we're making. This was actually a really fun build to do, and I think that's because I had it in mind of what the purpose of this build was. Like, it was to kind of replace the cheap woohoo idea in case you do want to have a little bit more say in what happens during that experience for your Sims. Now, I love this sign. I actually want more signs in the Sims 4 for community builds. I've been building a lot more of those recently, and so I think just having a little bit more signs would make it easier. Now, there's this one, and then there's also a few other signs too, but it is supposed to be a little bit on the cheaper side, so I do end up using the one from Dine Out and then using this one that we got from City Living. I was looking for some more, but I don't end up using it because it just doesn't make sense. So I end up adding that on top of the second floor and then adding some more plants all around just to kind of fill in some more space as well. But also, talking about filling in space, I realized that, you know, this looks like a very small pool area, so I had to be really intentional about what I add outside of it. And I thought about just seating, period. I did want to add a picnic table or something, but then I was like, that doesn't really make sense. This is a lounge, but it is like a cheap woohoo lounge, so it's meant for like smaller gatherings, maybe. So I do end up adding like dual things. So we have 2 lounge chairs over there. I end up having the 2 chairs and then the end table right there. I do end up adding one of the tall tables that we get from Tiny Living, and then 2 bar stools. Like, I just wanted a lot of seating. I wanted it to be very inviting, but also kind of allude to a more intimate setting. And I felt like those were the things that really gravitated to that vibe, in my opinion, as well as making sure I put in everything for the stage. I do just end up adding, the things that I mentioned and a couple lights, because I do want it to be a very functional area. And if I put more things up there, it's not going to be functional. You're not going to be able to do anything. We are now moving into room number 4, and there ends up being 2 pink like rooms, but this one is a darker pink. And I mentioned how much I loved those beads in my reveal trailer reaction video, but I see it in real life and I love them even more. So I end up using the same bed that we used in that first room, but it just in a different swatch. I end up using the mirror that we got from Seasons, and then adding a few things of small decoration. It is one of the smaller rooms, so you can see I took out the kitchen here because I wasn't really going to be able to fit in the bed. As well as taking out the kitchen, I did have to opt for a 3-tiled bathroom in there, but although it is small, it does serve a purpose, and I love the way that turns out. And now we're moving on to room number 5. This bedroom is actually a really nice one. I end up using the wallpaper that we got from the Love Struck expansion pack, but also this is the bed that we got from the industrial kit. And so I love this one. I did want to use those lights, but I do end up taking those down and opting to use a light that we can put on the ceiling, and then just adding some little plants there. You can easily see how I changed it from green to red. Like I said, red is just that color, but also I wanted to use that rug that you can see right there, and in order to do that, I think the green was clashing with it for me, so I do end up taking that out. But I do end up using the table that we got from the High School Years expansion pack, and then also pairing it with the chairs that we just got from the Love Struck expansion pack. Now, I did want to add that wallpaper, that red wallpaper that you see throughout the entire room, but it was hurting my eyes, so no. I do end up putting black around the whole thing, but that is room number 5. Now we're moving into room number 6, and this ends up being our other pink room. Now this one is a lighter pink, and it's not as bold, but it is a bigger room. We do end up keeping the kitchen, and this is probably the room with the biggest bathroom. I love this one. I can't believe that I end up going for a lighter pink for this one. I did have it in mind for another one, but as soon as I saw that bed, I had to use it, and I thought I was going to use the love seat that had the lips on it, but it just wasn't really working for me. I don't know, I wasn't really feeling it, so we don't end up using it there at that moment. But instead, I do end up adding a table and then some chairs, and then I end up adding the board game. I think it's the card game, and you get to choose between, Woohoo or Thumbs Up game, and I think that's really cool to add it on the same one, but you can choose what game to play. I think that's a really realistic part of the game, because I actually love relationship type couple games, and on one side some of them are like more friendly, and the other side they're more relationship focused, so I really like that. And for this one, I end up adding some clothes on the ground. This is supposed to be a little bit on the cheaper side, so I do end up going back around in most of these rooms and adding like cracks on the ground, like water damage, things like that, but that does not take away the beauty from this apartment, in my opinion. And now we have entered doing the bathroom for this one. I love that bathtub. That is the bathtub that we got from Seasons, and then some storage throughout this entire thing. I love adding storage anywhere because I think it just makes sense, and especially for a cheaper motel that wouldn't necessarily be the one giving you concierge type service, you would have like extra towels and things like that in the unit that you're staying in for the moment, and it just makes sense. So that is room number 6. Now we're moving on to room number 7, and this is a smaller unit as well, but this is not too small that we couldn't keep a kitchen. Now the kitchen is only like 4 tiles wide, and there's only 2 things. It's a refrigerator and a countertop with an oven under it. What they could make there, I don't know, but it is big enough to have a full bathroom. So we do end up having a shower, toilet and sink in there, and you can just use the sink in there. I don't think it'll be a problem, but I love this room. I end up using a zebra print kind of accent wall here. I think it just kind of makes sense. I love that wall divider that we got from, I think it's Vintage Glamour actually, but I actually really like that one. I did want to go for a darker color scheme in that room, but I do end up opting for something a bit lighter. And now we are working on room number 8, I believe. This room is a little bit on the darker side, so although I didn't do it in the last room, I was able to complete completed in this one. And in this one, I do want to go for a little bit more on the greener side. Emerald green is really just that color. Now, I don't think about emerald green as much when I'm thinking about like romance or anything, but whenever I'm thinking about weddings, I definitely think about it. And so this is paired with green and purple, and I do end up using that couch from Dream Home Decorator. I was a little bit hesitant on adding that one, but it does go with the darker color scheme, and it's kind of the only one that I could see using in this particular build. You could definitely take that out and add in the love seat with the lips on it, but this is just the one that I ended up opting for. I do love this color scheme. Of all the rooms that I worked on, I feel like this is the color scheme that I love the most, but there is the final room, and in that room the color scheme goes crazy. The colors are crazy and I like it. Speaking of the colors in the last room, we're already here. I feel like this speed build came and went so fast. If you stuck by for this long, please end up telling me by the end of this, what is your favorite room? I think I have quite a few, but I feel like I might just be a little bit more biased because I made all of these and I love them all. But this one ends up being yellow, purple, and red, and I end up using a zebra stripe pattern with red accents on it. And this is actually one of the few times where I end up adding ceiling patterns. Typically I just leave it white because I don't really look up there that much, but for these I felt like it just made sense, so I do end up adding the zebra print that you see on the walls on the ceiling, and I love it. This is probably one of the more busier rooms, but to me it just kind of made sense. I feel like if I'm going to go all out, I feel like I should have just done that. And this is one of the rooms where I wanted to give that illusion of what I mentioned earlier of being fine. And this is where more is more is more, and it's great. I end up using the wallpaper here from Visions Glamour in the bathroom, and that's just kind of to go along with that yellow that we see in the room. And I end up using a tub here, no shower, and a bigger vanity here with a nice mirror. I didn't want to use a full floor to ceiling mirror here because we do end up having that mirror behind the bed in the main room. So this is the final room that we have in this lounge lot. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I did. If you want to see more things like this or just enjoy hanging out with me and me explaining the build process on everything that I end up making in The Sims 4, please don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel. Also, like this video. Let me know what your favorite part of this video was. Tell me how you're feeling about the Love Struck expansion pack. I have a lot of cool ideas of things I'd want to do with this pack in terms of gameplay, building, storylines, things like that, and I want to be able to share that with you guys, so please let me know what you think in the comments. We are finally adding the finishing touches here. I end up using the lights that we got from the pack, and then also finishing up on these bathrooms. And now these are the bathrooms that are used by people who aren't necessarily going to use the boom boom rooms, so I felt like I needed these, and there are just two versions of them because that is just a more realistic gameplay aspect that I love to add. And then we're just going back in and adding some lights everywhere. This is the finished build. If you want to download it off the gallery, go ahead and do so. It is there. I really hope you enjoy these screenshots, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye.
So amazing. It's the moonlight that makes me wonder why we separated, or am I faded? You shine so bright, it's an understatement. Single is overrated. If you get too close, my baby might let you take me back. Take me back, baby. Take me back, baby, baby, baby. Take me back, baby. Hindsight. 2020, you've been so patient. Oh, I kept you waiting. You want me back, baby? Then take me back, baby. It's in the night when I think I made it. When all day dedicated, 18 hours without breaking. Not thinking about us. Then in my mind, you're next to me laying. Those memories keep playing. Am I high or am I crazy? Might let you take me back. Take me back, baby. Back. Take me back, baby, baby, baby. Take me back, baby. Hindsight. Take me back, baby. It's 2020. You've been so patient. Oh, I kept you waiting. You want me back, baby? Then take me back, baby, baby. Only one to turn me on and turn me out. Thinking about it now, drive me crazy.
Ooh, oh,